The one thing I really wanted to ask you about, because we got the Super Bowl talk off the top, because I know how coaches are, they want to move on. But I'm thinking about that game, and I'm thinking, like, what a clean ball game you guys played, like, which is a testament for a team that was highly penalized the year before and that sort of thing, is testament to you guys putting your heads together and saying, like, we're going to clean this stuff up. And through the year, because it wasn't always pretty early on, you guys play a really clean Super Bowl. Kansas City's kind of all over the place, and that happens. But I could not get the October 8th game out of my head the entire season. I thought the Bears game. Yep. I was thinking to myself, like, I'm trying to think for Tom, and I'm trying to think for you, and I'm thinking, like, this has to be like the seventh circle of hell. That one drive, I think before the half, there's like 3 penalties. Khalil Mack's breath is probably not great, and it's in Tom's face.
5 penalties, yeah.
You know the drive.
Oh, yeah, very well.
So take me in the locker room there, or like on the sideline. Like, where were you guys at mentality-wise as a team? And then also, like, how do you morph from that team to the team in the Super Bowl?
Well, you know, one of the things we preach hard is Bucs don't beat Bucs. And for the first year, we notoriously gave games away beating ourselves.
Right.
And I think you have to learn how to win. Tom obviously brought that in, and I love when he snapped out on the sideline, and because he beat me to it. Then I didn't have to go as crazy as I normally do. And but after the game, we weren't leaving that locker room until we made a fucking commitment that this shit's stopping. All right. And we went from the most penalized team to the least penalized team the rest of the year. And it's just a commitment by the players. You just had to stop it. And, you know, we can't have pre-snap penalties. A post-snap penalty might happen here or there, but we have to stop beating ourselves in critical downs. And we did it. It was amazing effort by the players, because as coaches, we beat it into them nonstop for a year and a half. And Tom was a big part of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it you know, just as a player, it helps so much when you have another player that can do your job in moonlight as the chew out guy. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be you all day long, because, you know, you lose the room. And I think Tom is a huge tool, just not for what he does on the field, but obviously, and, you know, you see some people that watch on TV and they're like, he's yelling at Ryan Jensen. What an asshole. I'm like, I'm pretty sure Ryan Jensen's okay with it. In fact, it's good for Ryan Jensen. You got to have a Ryan Jensen, but you also have to have a guy that reels him in and reins him in.
Yep. Yeah. I love the way Ryan plays, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's one of those marked guys, and, you know, every referee crew comes up and they got somebody they're marked.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it be a guy that refs the passer all the time or takes a shot here or there, you know, Sue was that way for a long time. And I always tell the refs, hey, dude, he's going to play to the whistle. If he does something extracurricular, warn him or foul him or penalize him, but he's going to play to the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if you don't like finishing people off, then you shouldn't be in the business.
What was that bye week like? Because, you know, I thought about it, like, when you guys beat the Giants, you know, people were talking about, I never hopped off the Bucs bandwagon on the record here. I mean, there were a lot of people that early on were saying, well, this is who they are. And, you know, you lose a couple games going into the bye week. But even before that, I thought the Giants win on the road was extremely gutsy. I thought, you know, I think about like turning points, and maybe because of what happened after in the skid, you went on. Initially, I thought when Mike caught that ball in the corner of the end zone, that key touchdown at the end of that Giants game, I thought that was like a big moment for you guys. It felt like this is a gutsy road win where our assholes were probably tight the entirety of the game. And you've got a connection between two players who everybody thinks there's some rift between, or they don't get each other. And I was like, okay, now we're rolling. But there's the skid, and then there's the bye week, which came at a perfect time. Where was the actual turning point?
Yeah, I think the second half, really the second quarter of the Kansas City game, the first Kansas City game, you know, we spot them 17 points and they go off. But then for second, third, and fourth quarters, if we get that ball back, we win that game.
Yeah.
You know, but Pat ran around and got a couple first downs and ran out the clock. But we felt extremely confident. All right. So we lose to the Rams by 3, lose to the Chiefs by 3. Forget the Saints game. That's one of those, you just burn it. So then it's like, all right, go to open day, week 13, dude, between protocols of COVID and the season, everybody's worn out mentally.
Mm-hmm.
It's a grind. And so I was like, hey, take the whole week off. I don't even want to see you. We're not practicing. We're not meeting. We come back Monday, and we'll talk about it. And we came back, and that's when I put up the playoff scenarios. Now, here's where we are. All right, you want to get in the playoffs? You're in the playoffs because we play the Vikings. They're right behind us. If we lose to the Vikings, we're probably not getting in.
Right.
All right. So I just kept putting it up there every week where we stood. We ended up as the 5th seed going into the last game of the year. Say, hey, we want to be the top seed that didn't win our division. And so it was just a matter of getting focused for the playoffs. So when the playoffs started, and it was so different with no fans in the stand, to go on the road wasn't that hard. And but yeah, there was a refocused and a amount of energy, mental energy after the bye week.
And you guys changed a lot, right? You morphed from that team October 8th against the Bears to that team that was playing a clean football game and, beating the, like today's version of the greatest show on turf. I mean, I really think Kansas City's that impressive even without the tackles. Your look changed a lot too, Coach. You evolved over the year. You went from different face mask coverings. You had like different
the sash.
The sash. Just take us through what drove the fashion decisions of one Bruce Arians this year.
The biggest thing with the mask is my damn glasses fogging up. I bet I got 25 products in the mail from people. Hey, this will fix your glasses. No, that doesn't. All right, my shit, I can't see, I can't coach. So I'd always have mine down below my nose, and the league was, hey, tell coach to get his mask up. I said, tell the league to get some damn products to stop my glasses from fogging up. All right, but the belt pack, I used to wear it around my waist, but I had to put it on so tight. It was pinching a nerve. I had some nerve. I had back surgery last year. So it was kind of pinching this nerve going down my leg. So I've got this great assistant strength coach who she's amazing. And she said, Coach, why don't you just wear it over your shoulder? So at the Raiders at halftime, it's killing me. So I throw it over my shoulder. Shit, the pain went away. So I just started wearing it like a bullet pack. And it was a lot easier to work too. And so, yeah, that was really the story behind the sash.
Oh, it's amazing. It's a great look. It's a great look. I didn't fully understand it. And I've been on the sideline for, well over a decade. So I know what pretty much everything looks like on a sideline. I was like, he's got some new shit. You do this like really unprecedented thing, getting everybody back, which is really cool. And then I think the coolest thing you did was you waited till 3 days after you signed the last guy and you said, this is going to be the toughest camp of all time. You got him back and you didn't tell him camp was going to suck. Or maybe they knew. I wonder when you're getting ready for a year like this, because I've been involved in one of those, because when I was in New England, then I left after. And I was really interested to see what it's like to repeat or what it's like to attempt to repeat. It's the hardest thing in sports. I think anybody in football knows that. And I think coaches sometimes can beat it over the head that like, hey, look out for that slump. Look out for that complacency that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, if you say nothing about it, maybe your guys can't handle it and they're out there and it's a party all year. How do you toe that line as somebody who wants to get guys in the right mindset to repeat?
Well, we have a very, very physical camp as it is. And I would think if we didn't have this again, we wouldn't be ready.
Right.
But it's kind of like you can measure yourself if we're going to be ready or not.
Yeah. If
we're practicing as hard as we did last year.
Yeah.
And, last year was such a unique, crazy situation because we're tackling each other. We never tackle in camp, but, not having any preseason games, we had to tackle somebody.
Yeah.
So we had like college scrimmages in the stadium. And I'd hold my breath every time somebody go out, and because you got your starters going against your starters.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, that's enough. That's enough. So I actually canceled the last one. I knew we were ready. So there's a good barometer, to see if the team is ready, and they know it. I start every practice with I call the accountability sheet. So every mental error and every penalty I put up in front of the team. So if you're on there too much, either you're give a shit meter, don't run hot enough, or you're too fucking dumb to play for us. All right. So that's the only answer to that question. If you're up there 8 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the great thing is, I think that's a real key. Like when I was in New England, I really liked what Bill did is like at the beginning of our meetings, we'd all sit in that room And, like nothing gets your piss hot like the threat of you being chewed out in front of Tom Brady for being out of your gap, and there's a lot of gap variation in that defense. But I'm just saying, like, being in that room, it's a big deal. And I don't think enough coaches do that. The importance of, like, holding each other accountable in the big room. You've been places, I'm sure, where everybody just breaks down. Yep. Like, immediately. It's like, good morning. All right, go with your coaches. And I think that's really cool. I mean, I think that lights a fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think accountability is the key word.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not being accountable to me, it's being accountable to the guy next to you, and if you got 5 starting offensive linemen and one of them on that sheet 5 times, they got an issue,
right?
And they take care of it in their room, so, but it also sends a message to the entire team. I used to love Larry Fitzgerald. I love him to death. And in my first year, he'd be up there and he'd get all pissed off and want to argue with me. I said, dude, I'm right. Don't get on. So if he was up there, maybe once every 5 weeks, we'd have a hell of an argument because, Coach, that's embarrassing. I said, well, don't get your ass up there anymore then.
Yeah.
And I love Larry. He's one of my all-time favorites.
How's Tom as an arguer?
He's really good. Really good. Really good. But still,
can the goat be wrong? The goat can be wrong, yeah?
There's just one judge.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The goat can be wrong. Yeah, well, the goat was wrong one time. How much shit did you give him about this once the smoke cleared?
I let that one go.
Okay, good. That's good of you.